I can edit it afterwards.
It's on now.
Okay. All right, so
Keep collapsing.
I'll put that in. The standard form of the equation of a circle is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r. So if you have a circle with center point 2, 1, that means h will be 2. This is not on your sheet. I'm just giving you an example. And k would be 1. The distance here, the radius is 3. So I have all the information necessary to write the equation of that circle. X minus 2 squared plus y minus 1 squared equals 9. X minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. Right? All right. So looking at your first example here, it gives you the center point and tells you it's tangent to the x-axis. So the center point is at -4, +3. Tangent to the x-axis means it touches it but doesn't cross it, just kind of glances off it. So that gives us the radius of the circle. From 3 down to 0 is just 3. And I can't draw. But you all know that, right? So your other points are actually going to be at -1, +3. -4, +6. Okay. All right, basically go 3, 3, 3 to make your points and then draw a circle. I'm sorry, I draw really terrible circles.
You tried.
But that's the basic idea. So we know the center point, we know the radius. And that means we can write the equation. X minus, what's the x value of the center point?
-4.
Why, but now you should talk. Yeah, -4. So x minus -4 squared plus y minus, what's the y value of the center point? 3 squared equals, and the radius is 3. 3 squared is 9. This is the equation of that circle. And of course, usually when we do this, we rewrite it as x plus 4 squared plus y minus 3 squared equals 9.
Are we actually putting this on?
Yeah. That's the very first problem at the top of your paper, so please write it down. And that's the answer. We put it in standard form. That's it.
It's okay because you don't usually take this.
I have a question.
Yes.
Minus equals 9.
What does this equal 9?
Yeah.
The radius is 3,
Okay.
and and your standard form
Bless you.
equals r squared, so we just did 3 squared. So for problem 1a, they give you the center point and the radius, and they ask you to write the equation. Think you can do that? Yeah. Okay, go to it. I'm going to do it on the board while you're doing it.
What do you do?
All right.
Leave it in.
For problem 1a, this should be your equation. X minus 3 squared plus y minus -2, so we say y plus 2 squared equals, radius is 2, 2 squared is 4. That's the equation of the circle, the standard form of the equation of the circle. Every point on the outside of this circle makes this equation true. So you could pick any point out here, plug it in, and the equation should be true. And that's true even, that's true even for the kind of weird points, which it occurs to me right now. I'm not going to try and figure out because it takes a while. That's true even for the weird points where the numbers are not perfect integers. Just leave it for now, okay?
Please put this on YouTube.
All right. So that's 1A.
How do you know the points that you choose?
To graph them?
To one equation.
Oh, these points? I just took the point at the center. It's always the center.
So why you need to do the rest?
To draw the circle.
Oh.
That's the only reason. If we weren't drawing it, I wouldn't need to at all. All right. Now the other thing is, it's broken anyway. The other thing, 1b, is taking the equation in general form and putting it in standard form. And for that, that's why I wanted you to practice completing the square. So for number 1b, the first thing you do, you're going to group your x's together and your y's together and get the constant alone.
This is 1B, correct?
This is 1b.
Thank you.
And for reasons that will become clear in a moment, I'm going to want you to leave some blanks. So, x squared minus 4x plus blank plus y squared plus 12y plus blank equals negative 30 plus blank plus blank. We're going to fill in the blanks in a minute.
How big should the box be?
Full page.
At most, it'll need like 2 digits.
All right.
Maybe I'll just turn down the volume. All right. Everybody got that? Yeah. Okay. Now, in order to get this format, we need to rewrite this as a squared binomial. So this is where the completing the square is going to come in. So this would be x what? In order to get the middle term to be negative 4x.
2.
X minus 2 squared, but that means what would go here?
Oh, you have to do the
X
thing.
squared minus 4x, exactly. We cut it in half and then we square it. And if you add it on one side, you've got to add it on the other. So we put 4 in both blanks. One blank over here and one blank over there. We'll do the same thing for the y's. This will be y plus what? 6. And then what do we have to add? 36. Good. Cut it in half, square it. So we add 36 on both sides. Negative 30 plus 4 plus 36 is 10. And we're actually done. Yes?
Where did you get your 4 and 36?
So in order to write it as a squared binomial, we had to complete the square, because just x squared minus 4x is not a perfect square. So the only squared binomial that would give you minus 4x as a middle term is this one. But this has to have plus 4 as a last term. So we have to put it in. We have to complete it. And if it goes here, it's got to go over here, or it's unbalanced. That's it. Will, what's the center point of this circle?
Is it 2 negative 6?
Absolutely right. Anthony, what's the radius of this circle?
2.
This is our squared. So, no. Square root of 10, which will be a little more than 3. So to graph the circle, I usually just go like a little more than 3. But that's it. There's the center, there's the radius. Can you pause it? So on the back of the piece of paper, there are 4 problems which are about completing the square for circles. The ones on the bottom are about how you complete the square for ellipses. We're not going to do those today. We'll get into ellipses later this week, so don't lose this piece of paper. But right now, we're only going to do the first 4. So, these two work just like the 1b that we just did at the front. We're going to group the x's together. Oh, this one is already grouped, right?
Great.
Our first step would be to group the x's together and group the y's together and get the constant alone. That's already done. Our second step is to complete the square. And that's going to mean adding things to complete them. This will have to be x minus 2 squared. Remember, cut this in half. and then add the square. Negative 2 squared is positive 4, so that's got to be added once on each side of the equal sign.
Ooh.
For the y's, the only way to get this is y plus 4 squared, by cutting the 8 in half, and 4 squared is 16. So that has to be added once on each side of the equal sign. And the last step is just to total these up, bless you, and you get 29. And that's it. That is the equation in standard form.
So it's x.
So you're basically doing the like 2 squared,
Mhm.
Sorry, I didn't
squared.
know his name.
Cut it in half
Oops. that's
and
not
add
good.
the square to both sides.
Okay.
Cut it in half and add the square to both sides.
It's basically just like the square.
Basically.
Yes, Jordan.
Why is it called completing a square for doing circles?
Ah. All right.
She deserved it.
A circle
Video
fits in
game
a
wrong
square.
with this.
That's,
Let me think about that one, actually.
It's so cool if you can complete circle.
All right, for number 2, they're not grouped yet, so you would have to start by regrouping them. And I do like to leave this blank, at least when I'm starting out. Cut it in half and square it. Cut it in half and square it.
cut it.
Cut it in half and square it and add it.